car is currently loaded up with plants and it's 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning and I'm very sleepy. We're heading to the Secret Plant Show where I mentioned before that I'm going to be selling plants with Jing and Hai from Midnight Garden. This is not massive as far as plant show goes. It's nothing like PlantCon or IAS, but I can only imagine how tired the vendors must be. I remember when we were at IAS, like just talking to the vendors, they just seemed like zombies and shells of people, and they were like, I don't even remember saying anything that I said to. I don't remember talking to people I talked to because it was just so overwhelming. So I get to have a little taste of that today. I really hope every plant makes it in one piece because I can hear some things moving around in the trunk. So today I am packing very light in terms of filming equipment. So I have you on my phone, I have this microphone, that's it. So it's gonna be quite a long day. So I think I'm probably gonna like condense the most of my filming at the beginning of the day while I still have my wits about me. And obviously because we are there to sell, I'm going to have to be like actively, you know, manning the booth as well. So I don't know how limited I will be in terms of filming, but we'll do our best. Today's kind of a day for intrusive thoughts. I'll tell you what my intrusive thoughts are. In this scenario, it's not me in the plant show, it's somebody else that I care about. Like, say it's my boyfriend or like my dad or something, and they're at the plant booth and nobody's like coming by to talk to them. They're just sitting there all alone and I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Do you guys ever go to like markets and like Christmas markets, and there's always that one booth that's like the real estate that they occupy is not prime real estate, so it's kind of like, you know, in an inconvenient place, or it just doesn't go with the flow of foot traffic, and they're just like standing there all alone while other booths are super lined up. And I always feel so bad. I try to buy something from them, but obviously like me as one person is not going to make much of a difference, but I just always feel horrible, and I have that same feeling of like wanting to throw up. I guess I'm just glad that it's me and Jing, and we also have Hai, so even if the booth doesn't do well and we don't, you know, get a lot of visitors, at least we have each other. Anyways, I'm going to calm myself down with some music and I will see you at the show. It was a race right down to the finish. Like, they're literally opening now and we still have a few finishing touches to be done, but this is our setup. Here's Hai's crystal boxes. Jing and Hai are just picking some giveaway plants. Hi, Jing! And the show is about to start. Okay, I don't know if you can even hear me. It is so loud in here and I'm just like squished into the corner. There's like no space for us to move around. But I just wanted to show you some of Hai's plants before they get sold. This is Red Crystal by SKG Purple. Very cute. These are, I think, Ace of Spades by Red Vein Dark Phoenix. Yes, those are Ace of Spades by Red Vein Dark Phoenix, and they're so dark. And I love the veins on this one, like very, very red. That one in the back, I'm not sure what it is, but it's also very cute. Some little guys, and there's just like so many treasures everywhere. What is this one? Ace Pap by Scott Coleman by Eyewall. There's a lot of like Australian cultivars here, like Midnight Velvet hybrids, Cape Oasis hybrids, Heinz hybrids. There's just tons everywhere. Like, you really have to spend the time to go through these, which is a shame because it is so absolutely packed. It's lined up around the building and I feel very claustrophobic. So that's just my quick check-in. I can't continuously film because it's just so chaotic in here. Maybe when it dies down later in the day. It is now almost 5 p.m. and the lineup just died down. It was just insanely busy. I was not expecting lineups around the building, like kind of wrapped around the building for like 5 hours straight or something like that. But after, when it closes to the public at 6 p.m., there's going to be like friends and family, which is just like the vendors can just shop amongst themselves. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay after that, but also I don't want to sit in traffic. So I might just kind of peek around at other vendors once the show is officially closed for the day. But I'm glad I got a little bit of pizza. I got a lot of coffee today and I'm feeling not too bad. I think I'm gonna like just pass out when I get home, but right now I'm feeling okay. So it's the next day. Jing and Hai are still at the show as of right now, selling. I think it's about to wrap up for the second day. I'm so glad I only committed to one day of the show because I am exhausted. I came home last night exhausted, starving, ate dinner, and then like had a nice scrub down in the shower, and then just zonked out. I was so tired. I also woke up this morning and my body just hurts. Like it's just like tired, and that's absolutely pathetic because we weren't even like lifting heavy things. I don't really know why. I think maybe because we were standing for most of the day. I think we were standing for about 6 to 7 hours straight because there was no room for chairs, and as things were selling like halfway, no, maybe like 3/4 of the way through the day, we decided to like move some things around, and then we fit some chairs in. We were able to sit down. It just felt so good. But I wanted to end the video here and do like a little recap of the day, kind of how it went, and then show you the plant I brought home. And also like in our little Sunday afternoon poodle, me and my boyfriend today, we've been out all day, so I just came home with this plant. I wanted to show you the new plant that I got. So yeah, the plant show was really not what I expected. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned like being like alone at a booth with like nobody there and just being kind of sad, but it was actually insanely busy. I remember stepping out like all throughout the day, like just to get a drink or like use the washroom or whatever, and there always was a lineup around the building, and I wondered when the lineup would actually die down, and it wasn't really until like maybe an hour and a half before the show closed that there was actually no lineup to get into the building. But throughout the day, it was just mostly like this standing room. You couldn't walk around freely, which I think like that amount of volume was not conducive to people to be able to browse at a comfortable pace and be able to actually look through things. So I think a lot of people actually felt too uncomfortable to linger too long and then just kind of moved on when they could because there's people trying to push in beside them. So I honestly think that venue could have been at least double the size with the amount of vendors there for people to actually browse at like a pace that like they could actually look through the things and get what they wanted. And of course you can't predict the amount of foot traffic coming through, and I don't know if last year's show wasn't quite as busy. I think everyone was a little bit surprised for how popular it was. One thing that was quite surprising to me was that like I kind of expected the general, like the average customer coming through to be a plant hobbyist, but it was, I think, more so just casual, not even hobbyist, just like having something to do on a Saturday afternoon kind of person. And a lot of people like hadn't heard of they hadn't heard of anthurium or hadn't heard of a lot of things and absolutely knew nothing about plants, which was quite interesting. So for that reason, I think a lot of vendors, everyone I actually spoke to, I didn't speak to everyone, but everyone I spoke to were selling a lot more like the large, bushy, common plants, fully established plants, and a lot of like seedlings, propagations. Like the Hoya vendors were saying like they couldn't sell the expensive Hoyas, but they were selling a lot of the like common ones that were like fully rooted, maybe like a little bit bigger. And for me and Jing, all of our like larger established plants that we were like kind of purging from our collection, all of them sold, but our seedlings, it was hard to sell the seedlings. So that wasn't how I would have predicted it to go, but that's how it went. And that means like a lot of the seedlings can now go on the website, which is good because seedlings are way easier to sell. I am so glad that like the large plants were sold and like the little ones that are easy to ship across country didn't sell. I mean, I'm not glad that the seedlings didn't sell, but like if I had to choose, I would rather ship the seedlings, obviously. And I was also able to meet a lot of people that watch my videos and like just kind of connect people to usernames and stuff, which is always very nice. Like it was very reminiscent of IAS in that way. So that made the whole day very much worth it. And also meeting Nick and Corbin in person, which was amazing. And I have a plant from them that I'm about to open with you. There were these two Japanese ladies that Jing was helping, and it was actually my first time hearing Jing speak Japanese because she is fluent in Japanese. She lived in Japan for quite a long time. So that was really nice. But these two ladies watch my videos. They say they get together every weekend, watch the videos, do plant chores, which is just so, makes me so appreciative of female friendship. It's just such a beautiful thing and just so lovely. So next to our booth, there was a booth that, well, I think it was just one guy, and he had all these imports from Thailand, and his booth was bumping. Like it was all variegated stuff, all, yeah, there's a lot of succulents. I think Jing got a couple, I didn't, but I did show, I think, the video of it. If not, then I'm going to show it to you right now. I was interested in his Codex plants, but I didn't end up getting anything. I was also interested in the variegated plumeria, but I wasn't confident that I could keep it alive. So after the show ended to the public, it was supposed to be like kind of vendor kind of shopping hour. So like we can just kind of shop each other's booths, but a lot of people just ended up packing up. So I didn't buy anything after all, which is good because today I kind of found out that my dishwasher probably needs replacing. So I'm glad I didn't spend like hundreds of dollars at the show because I need to now buy a dishwasher. But anyway, this I have been itching to open, but I promised myself I would do it on camera. So this is from Nick and Corbin. I already know what it is. If you follow them and you watch their Instagram stories, you probably have seen it already, but maybe you didn't know it was coming to my house. So a little background to this trade. Nick just reached out and asked if he could send me a plant. And I was like, I can't just accept such a beautiful, because he was offering me a specific plant. And I said, I can't just accept that from you without giving you something in return. And then I asked if he was going to be at the show, and he said yes, so that would be a good place for us to do a trade. And so I gave him the Dark Phoenix King of Spades, the little Carla Beef seedling that I thought was quite cute and I hope grows well for them. And in return, this much bigger plant, which is packaged very, very well, is now in my possession. And I didn't really prepare a place for it to live. I'm assuming it came from Tent Conditions, which is where they have a really big tent. I really, really highly recommend, by the way, if you don't already watch their YouTube videos, that you do watch their YouTube videos because they can probably, you'll probably learn more from them than you'll learn from my videos, especially when it comes to anthuriums, because they're just better than I am, and they have an insane collection. I think this plant is actually probably bigger than I pictured it in my head. If I'm speaking quietly, by the way, it's because my boyfriend is downstairs working, even though he shouldn't be working on a Sunday, but he is. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, that new leaf. Oh, it's got a really nice root system too. This packaging, by the way, okay, let me show you this before I fully take it out. It's so stinking pretty. I'm gonna just show you the older leaf with the newer leaf. This one is BVEP by DF. And in case you didn't know, I don't own a DF, but the SP Nova DF has been on my wish list for years. Still don't have one. So this is a hybrid that they made. I don't know which BVEP they used, but if I can find out from Nick, I'll put the BVEP here. I'll put their DF here. I never had BVEP by DF on a wish list. I had BVEP on a wish list and then I got BVEP. I had DF on a wish list. And so they picked one that looks the most, it is the most DF leaning. It has a really long shape, the really wide sinus. You can see the sinus on this one. This is a fresh leaf. On the tag, it also doesn't say which BVEP it is. I think this is currently in like a very rocky, like pumice and perlite heavy tree fern mix. It's hard to see. I think it's tree fern. It's not just like pond. I can't really tell. So I was chatting to them a little bit in the show, and I was under the impression that DF was really hard to breed, but they were saying that DF, when they use it as a mother plant, it's not like an ideal mother plant, but it usually takes pollen, but it basically is super impossible, not absolutely impossible, but difficult to self. So what I had in my mind was that it was hard to use as a mother plant, period, but it's just, it won't take its own pollen in their experience. And whenever they use it as a mother plant, they're saying that the yield is always really small. So this batch, I think they said it was like 10 berries that they got off of it. And they said this one was their favorite one. And I didn't know that before they gave it to me, which makes me feel awful, but they did say they took a butt cut of it. So that's good. They have a piece of it. And I feel really honored to have this beautiful plant. I'm going to cherish it and baby it. I think this would go against Nick's personal like collecting buying practices, but I'm going to stick this straight into my tent. I'm not going to quarantine it. It's not that I just like completely trust Nick. I mean, I do trust Nick, but it's not just based on a trust thing. It's just because like my tent is no stranger to pests, and if there is pests, which I don't see any sign. There's not even blemishes on this. Like every leaf is absolutely pristine, which if you follow Nick and Corbin, this is kind of like what you can expect, is just totally pristine leaves. But even if it didn't look pristine, I think I still would just stick it into my tent because I want it to grow well. I have the resources to pest treat if I needed to. This thing is just so, 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 so pretty. I'm going to take the tape off so I can get a look at what kind of substrate it's in. It also was quite surreal to see them in person because, like, I don't know, it's always weird to see a YouTuber in person. I mean, other than my friends who are on YouTube, which that doesn't count because I knew them before they were on YouTube. Like when I met Sean in person at IAS, that was very surreal. When I met Samantha Ravindal, that was weird because she's someone I've been watching for years, and she's like not even in the plant world, but I met her in a planty context. So throughout the show and also at IS, like someone might be walking by me, turn around, look at me and be like, huh. That's kind of my feeling, that feeling that I got when I saw Nick and Corbin, because they said my name when we were finishing setting up. They came to give me this plant. They're like, Alice, and then I looked, huh. Oh, okay, so this is not tree fern. This is stratum. I can see perlite, pumice. So this looks like a semi-hydro setup. I'm making such a huge mess. There's also black lava rock in here. So this is probably their DIY pond mix, which has stratum in it. I can't see anything else, but there might be other stuff. I'm seeing perlite, pumice, stratum, black lava rock. And there's leca at the bottom. I don't usually keep stratum in stock at my house because it's so expensive. But if I love this mix, it might be something that like I'm willing to try for very finicky, very delicate plants. We shall see. It does kind of look like a plant that would appreciate semi-hydro because can you see these roots? They're very skinny and fine. So it would definitely be a plant to keep a reservoir on, I think. So I think I'm gonna put it into this little glass square vessel. And let's see, let's find a spot for it. It's quite full in here. I think it would be nice to have it somewhere here, but as you can see, there is no space. In between this plant and the Carla, there's a bit of room, but I'm concerned about this. Even though this hasn't really jumped over to this side, I don't love that idea. And then up here is quite full too. I'll probably have to move something out. I could potentially move this Dark Phoenix King of Spades out. I think I'm ready to sell off a couple. Like I think now that I've isolated this one as my absolute favorite and like my super, super keeper, I think I'm gonna sell maybe 2 or 3 on the next restock. And by the way, I don't know when that will be right now. Me and Jean haven't decided yet, but if by the time I upload this video, we have a set restock day, I will leave it in the description. So actually, maybe I'll move this out and then this can go here. I'm definitely gonna give it some water because this emergent leaf is, I mean, it's soft because it's a fresh new leaf, but I don't want it to dehydrate. And this spot isn't going to get very high light. Like there's a light here, which is behind it this way, and there's another light here, but I think most of the light it receives is going to be reflected off the front of the tent. So hopefully that will mean nice and dark leaves. By the way, look at how cute this little Carla leaf is. What is this? RA itself from Buzz Plants. It refuses to size up, but this leaf is very cute. Oh, and also a very purple Dreamweaver by Necromancer leaf. But Nick and Corbin, if you're watching this, thank you so much for this gorgeous plant, and I cannot believe you gave me your favorite one, but I'm really glad that you kept a piece for yourself. And if you're not already subscribed to NXC Plants on YouTube, please go and subscribe to their channel because I cannot stress to you how big their plants are. And they have a really strong understanding of the science of plant growing, but in a way that's very unpretentious and not like self-important, if that makes sense. So I just really enjoy their channel, and you always come away feeling like you learned something. So I will link them in the description. Please go follow them. They are great. By the way, I wanted to show you, this is where I ended up putting my Carson pin. It got prime real estate on my jacket. The other prime real estate is my little Taiwan, Canada pin. I will also link Carson in the description. Why not? He's on Palm Street. He sells these red crystal pins. He sells the pollen organizer box that I love so much. And he just came out with pot extenders, 3D printed pot extenders. Okay, so lastly, I dropped by Garden Works on the way home. Kind of not on the way home, but we took a little detour on the way home to go to Garden Works because I had seen someone post on Facebook a little bit of like what they had found at the Lougheed location. I live really close to a Garden Works location. Like whenever I drop by the garden center, I feature this garden center quite heavily. They're quite expensive as far as like large chain garden centers go in Vancouver. So I don't tend to buy a lot of plants there if I can find it elsewhere, because it's almost always like at least 30% cheaper elsewhere. But I haven't seen this plant in a really long time, and I already own this plant in the full green version, and I've been wanting the variegated version for a long time. And that is the Dracaena reflexa Song of India. So I have the Dracaena reflexa full green, which is, I believe they call it the Song of Jamaica. So I've had the green one for, I want to say like 2 years now, and I love it, but it didn't quite scratch the itch for this one. Like I've always wanted this one, despite already having the green one. This one has 3 plants in the pot. So I have the option of separating them out into single plants or having 2 in a pot and 1 on its own. So I specifically chose this one because it had quite a tall, like every plant had a big one and like a couple of small ones. And this one had the biggest big one, and it was already starting to curve this way. So I was thinking when I plant it up, and it's not going to be today, but when I plant it up, it's going to be, I'm going to face it this way with the light over here. So ideally this one that's going this way with the light source here. So maybe I'll put the window here, or I'll put the plant here in relation to the window. And then this one will start to curve back towards the light because I do want it to go like this. And then this one's also starting to curve. This one's quite straight, quite bushy. I think this one would be a good one to kind of separate out on its own. I also have to do another cafe plant install in the near future. I don't know if any of you remember that I did like a bunch of plants in a cafe, and they're doing really well. So there's a new location opening that needs a lot of plants. I don't know if I'm able to, or if I'm able to, if you guys are interested in me filming that. And I might also go back and get another one for the cafe. But I was thinking if I separate this one out, maybe I can just put 1 of them in the cafe, keep 2 for myself. I do have to clean this up because I don't know if you can see, I think maybe this is calcium all over the leaves. It does come off really easily. Like if I rub my fingers on it, it just kind of flakes off. It's not detrimental to the plant. I think it's just mineral deposit. So I do have to clean this up, but I do not have a pot for it yet. I do think it deserves quite a nice pot. Garden Works, one of the few places in Vancouver that sells the Berg's Potter planters, which I really love, but they don't have anything big enough for this. But I did want something, I don't know, clay maybe for it. I think that would be quite nice. I think I'm going to leave this plant in this soil for the foreseeable future and just stick it into a cover pot that I have somewhere, but I'm going to be looking for the appropriate pot for it before I separate the plants. But yeah, I'm really happy about this one. Like I wish it was bigger, but I think based on my Song of Jamaica, it doesn't grow like super slowly, because mine was originally like 2 little cuttings that had pruned off a big tree. And I expected it kind of to stay that size for a while, but then I think it was like a month or so ago that I repotted on camera, maybe almost 2 months ago, but I remember looking at it then and I'm like, it has grown so much in 2 years. So I think it shouldn't be too long before it feels like a small tree. I should probably put it away from my tent in case there's pests on it. They also had some very cute orchids at the garden center, which I always appreciate. They always have quite a few orchids. I did refrain from buying them because again, I have to replace my dishwasher. I don't remember if there was anything else I needed to tell you guys about, but as of right now, I am too hungry to think. My food delivery just arrived, so I'm going to leave this here. Again, I'll leave all the relative links in the description. Check out Nick and Corbin, check out Carson, check out Jing, Hi, everybody. I was very happy to meet Hi, by the way. He's so nice. If you guys ever have a chance, because he's just traveling the world, going to different plant shows. He's going to be at PlantCon soon. If you're ever at a plant show and he's vending there, please go talk to him, go say hi. He is so nice and he has stories for days. Like he has all the lore on the Australian growers, where these cultivars came from. He knows everything. And it's just very fascinating to talk to him and hear these stories. Okay, I'm really gonna go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day has been wonderful. I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!